Drama, Shay Muse, Silver, Wolves. I was born into poverty, my father lied to me. The streets is bloody, just like phlebotomy. A big little ghetto boy on the street corner, a little big ghetto boy selling marijuana. The life and times and life of rhyme, of which I had to speak about my life of crime. Nicks and dimes, the ounce of the folk, make a grand in an hour and the next I'm broke. Drama.
Grew up in Newark area, grew up in the Philadelphia area, but I'm a Jersey kid, and came out to Lawrence, Mass when I was about 6 years old. And I had a sister who was always DJing. You know, she was a female DJ back in the day, and she used to play, you know, all the early hip hop. You know, when I lived in Philadelphia as a kid, you know, I was there for the beginning roots of hip hop, and I got to experience it in a way that was just no way that you could experience it now. You know, it was the jams out in the park. You know, the plugging the DJ equipment into the street lights, and you know, just the real way hip hop was created. You know, so I got a chance to experience that, and that's what drew me to the music. You know, and then my sister becoming a DJ and seeing that element of hip hop, and just the diversity of music. It was just a real beautiful thing for me, you know, so I was always attracted to music, period. But when hip hop came along, the newness of it drew me to it, and just the urban feel to it was something that really drew me to it, and I took a liking to it. And you know, I think it was kind of like a match, because I used to write poetry as a little kid. You know, I was like a little nerd, and so the poetry and the hip hop kind of mixed, and before you knew it, I was writing rhymes, and you know, stealing my sister's records because they had the instrumentals on the backside, and playing them with my old homies, and we used to freestyle as little kids, you know, and that's what pretty much drew me to the music. The Wolves came about, you know, legendary rap artist, hip hop artist, Crumb Snatcher from Lawrence, came out on the Training Day soundtrack. It was a movie with Denzel Washington, and he had a song on there with M.O.P. It was called Wolves. And it's a classic song. Everybody knows it, the M.O.P. song with Crumb on it in the Training Day soundtrack, and that's where they was born. And he put a crew together. I wasn't initially a Wolves member from the beginning. They were, you know, in the beginning, I first came from a group called Missing Elements, which was a bunch of Lawtown artists put together by Bless One. And that was my first group. That's where all my professionalism as a hip hop artist came, because before Missing Elements, I'd never recorded in a studio. I'd never, you know, done anything on a professional level of hip hop. Before that, I was all, you know, just freestyling and, you know, hopes and dreams and whatnot. So with Missing Elements, I got my first experience of being a professional. That group disbanded, and Crumb was still moving along with his Wolves group, which people came and went. It was a label, and me and Crumb had been friends from some community service programs I used to run. So I had actually helped Crumb, you know, get into some programs and, you know, try to straighten his life out and whatnot. And so we always had that mutual respect for each other. And then, and he also knew that I was with Missing Elements. So when the group disbanded, me and Crumb had hooked up a couple of times, and he was like, hey man, you know, I know you got a lot of experience with music, you're doing your thing, you know, would you like to be a member of the Wolves group? Which people don't know, the Wolves stands for Warriors Organizing Lives, Values, Escaping Struggle. So when he asked me to be a part of the group, I came on board as someone who was just gonna help, you know, with organizing and just helping out the group get out there and whatnot. And I was an artist and all, so later that kicked in, but you know, there was a transition for me, you know, as being an artist. You know, I hadn't really picked up and found my voice as a hip hop artist. You know, I was rapping, but I didn't really find my voice in who I was until I got around Crumb and a couple of the other Wolves, Itchy Finger, Ave, you know, Lunox and Astro. When I got around them and I saw the way they were doing the music, it helped me propel and take my own music to the next level, because, you know, they're incredible artists. So being with the Wolves helped me elevate my status as an artist. And I went through the little bit of people, you know, maybe you should stop rapping now, and maybe you should, you know, just focus on the business side of it, because I do have that business aspect of the music piece as well, which I got from doing organizing, community organizing. And and I helped translate that into the music. So people were always, telling me to just focus on the business side of it, but being a wolf and having that wolf mentality, I was like, no, I'm an artist too, so I continued to write, and I blossomed, I think, at the right time as far as me being an artist, because that's when I started creating some pretty good music, and when I started recording my music and using upcoming producers, the music it all meshed and it all happened, and I think when I came to Wolves and got influenced by them, that's when DraMatik, the real MC, was born, and that was a big triumph for me, coming into the group and becoming finishing becoming the artist I was meant to be. So yeah. I've really not tried to establish myself as an artist who needed other artists to get my point across or make music that people like. So I try to keep that to a minimum as far as well-known artists, are concerned. I mean, I have collaborated with Crumb, obviously, Smith and Wesson. I did something with them, and I tried to, like I said, focus on exposing local talent. I even did a CD called DraMatik Collabos, which is a CD entirely based off me collaborating with other local artists, such as Benny Bronx, Itchy Finger, which mostly all the Wolves I collaborated with, because those are the artists on the label as well as the group. Itchy, Crumb, Pounds, and a lot of local artists. So basically that's where I stand with doing the collabo type thing. I'd rather focus on local artists, and not only that, not try to write off other artists' names, but establish myself as my own artist. So that's the way I feel about that. My favorite video, wow. I mean, if you take a look at all my videos, I've done one or two videos where you stand there and watch the camera, you know what I'm saying? But I've never been an artist that solely dependent on that. All my videos have thought to them, you know what I'm saying? So all my videos, man, I would have to say it'd be a toss-up between Drown Out, which is something that I did off my Swell Season CD, and In the Rain, which is a song that I remade the classic DraMatik's song In the Rain, which was shot in Lowell, and we mainly shot it in the rain. It was some sort of like a James Kelly Singing in the Rain type, but more the hip hop version of that. And I'm running around in the rain, playing games, rapping, and not only that, I rap about current events and the issues with hip hop right now. So it's a powerful song as well, but it's fun. The video's fun as well. So it's a toss-up between that one and Drown Out, which is a song that was a song that's about a guy who is haunted by his ex-lover's voices in his head, and he's always trying to drown the voices out. And I actually got to shoot that with my wife Shannon, and she plays the role perfectly. You know what I'm saying? So we're beefing through the whole video, and it just shows us going at it, and I'm just getting drunk in my own sadness and trying to drown her out. And she did an excellent job. She even helped us co-direct it. And both of those videos were shot by DL. So those are two of my favorite videos right now that I always like. I'll sit down every once in a while and watch it, or play it with the kids, and we'll laugh at the video and stuff like that. They're a lot of fun. There were several sparks in my life that geared me towards music. There was a time in my life where I was just like dreading death and what's life after death and how will I be remembered? Will I be remembered? That was something that stalked me for like 2 years as a young man. I was like 18 through 20 years old. I was just like, what's gonna happen when I'm gone? How are they gonna remember me? Who's gonna remember me? And I said, I could probably make a mark with music. It's something that I like to do. I enjoy doing it. And that's something that set me off on the course of making music and just trying to establish myself as an artist. Also the fact that I kind of like saw where hip hop was going at a point, and it kind of like pissed me off, and I was like, wow, people are forgetting what hip hop is based on, and it's slowly moving into the direction of things that are not really representing what hip hop is, but also representing, you know, the people that I'm around. You know what I'm saying? You know, positivity, life, uh, true stories. You know, not faking, you know, gangsterism and glorifying, you know, sex, money, and drugs. You know what I'm saying? That's a piece of hip hop. You know what I'm saying? But it's not what hip hop really is. Then you get the DJs and the record labels that get behind it and push all the wrong stuff, or an artist, it sounds like another artist that's out, you know, like they've definitely been the biggest detriment to hip hop. So, you know, thank God we have the underground, you know what I'm saying? And the underground artists like myself and the other big underground artists can survive there, you know? So, those little kind of things help push me in that direction. As far as being a man, while being an artist, you know, I got shot at a young age too, and that led to some of the thoughts of death and how will I be remembered type stuff, you know. But that also pushed me, you know, like, you know, I have to make a mark in this world and leave something behind that people are gonna remember me for. So that kind of stuff pushed me into the direction of what the music was. My greatest achievement in music? Good question. I guess I would have to say passing it on. Passing it on. I could say, you know, I got nominated for Boston Music Award, you know, one of Boston's best hip hop artists of 2009, and that was pretty big for me. But I would have to say, really, that was bigger than that was passing it on to my son, my nephew. You know, they're pretty good artists and they're just getting better. But the first time I heard my son say, "Hey, I recorded a song," and he sent me what he recorded, you know, I broke out in tears, you know, because I was like, this is my son, you know, becoming an artist because, you know, the life that I led. So it was, you know, passing that music on a generation for it to continue to live and flourish. But not only that, passing it on the right way, not passing it on, you know, like the stuff that I described earlier, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, these guys are turning into true MCs, not just the bull crap stuff that you hear out there today, you know. So I think that was one of my biggest moments, knowing that my children in my family, the boys in my family, were also becoming artists as well. I always tell my son he saved my life, you know, because he came along at a point where, you know, I was definitely going in the wrong direction as a young man, and I had him at 18, you know. So he saved my life, you know. He made me straighten out. He made me take a look at what I was doing and change myself for him. And like I said, then he turned around and started becoming an artist, very intelligent, highly educated. You know, I always tell him, "Yo, you're way better than me." At his age, he's 3 times the MC that I was when we were the same age. You know what I'm saying? So, highly impressed with him right now. We're currently working on a CD, and it should be coming out hopefully by the end of the summertime. But, you know, going into the studio, recording with him, and trying to match widths and lines with him, because like I said, he's incredible right now. He goes by AKG Raw. And you can check him out online. Just Google AKG Raw. You know, some of his music will come back. He's only dropped about 4 or 5 songs, and one of the biggest lessons that I tried to teach him about the music thing was, you know, the being diverse. You know, because he's young, you know, so, you know, all this, you know, trap stuff, and, you know, he can do that, and he has done it. But then he'll turn around and he'll drop some lyricism on you, some crazy flow. Like, you know, he's a very, very good MC, man. I'm very, very, very proud of him. So you can check him out. Just look for AKG Ron and check out some of the music he got. And we'll be dropping a video soon and music off the new CD. It's untitled yet. We're still, you know, playing around with some titles, but that should be coming along soon. DraMatik and AKG Raw. I have new album coming out hopefully by the end of May, early June, called The Experiment. Totally produced by GC Classics. And you can check that out. That should be coming out, like I said, in about a month and a half. And and it's called The Experiment because we experimented with a lot of different songs. Like I said, I like to be a diverse MC. I'll record songs that you wouldn't imagine an MC would record. Like who in the world goes out and samples Adele's "Someone Like You" and records a response to it? You know what I'm saying? Who goes out and makes Christmas hip hop songs or samples The Police or Tears for Fear? Like I've always been like that. One of the big things that I like to do as an artist is bring back old music. I love sampling old stuff, and I will never take it and turn it into trash. I'll always keep it in the same context with what it is. Just to show the respect for where it's coming from and try to take it a little deeper. But like I said, The Experiment is just like that. We've taken different sounds and melodies and rhythms. GC is a talented producer, and we experimented with hip hop and we came up with a crazy concoction. There's one song on there called "Shit on the Industry" where I talk about all the stuff we were talking about earlier about record labels and DJs and the radio pushing a certain kind of hip hop and trying to kill the music, and that's another video that we did. I shot like 95% of that video on the toilet. So I'm sitting there taking a shit and shitting on the industry at the same time. It's a hilarious video. It was a very strong song, so we wanted to diffuse it with a little bit of comedy, and it came out great. You can check that out. It's called "DraMatik Shit on the Industry," produced by GC Classic. It's one of the songs off The Experiment. And it's probably about 18 to 20 songs on that album, and it should be out real soon. And it's a musical adventure, and I delve into everything from street life to the club life to my family life. Fighting with my wifey. Everything's on that CD, and it's put together well. And I have quite a few collaborations and features from like Hood Pro, Crumb Snatcher, Knowledge is on it. So yeah, check that out. It should be coming out real soon. Seem to think that I'm an MC. He's the rapper. And I hear it all. He needs to stop rapping. He's too old. He's this, that. I'm not an MC. I'm not an actor. I'm a man who can rap. I'm a man who can act. I'm a man who can, build his community. And people seem to forget I'm a man. I'm a man who just loves to do things and be talented in what he does and try to, bring something new to the table, and acting was a natural thing. People don't know that I'm called DraMatik. My name was Andre. Used to call myself Dre, but because of the way I acted and expressed myself, people used to say, "Damn, Dre, you DraMatik." So, the name was given to me. I took it and made it DraMatik. And, doing videos definitely was a gateway to that too, because in my videos, like I said, I like to act. I like to put myself and think of myself in the third person or this or that. So it was kind of like a natural fit. And I had opportunities to do a lot of skits growing up. When I used to take trainings when I was a young man studying to do community service and community building, I used to do a lot of skits and role playing. And I used to do them back then, and I was like, yo, this is pretty easy for me to do. I just changed it. So then I just got into that and hired an agent of Boston Casting. They got me a few background jobs, and then my friend DL, who's a local artist, producer, he's a slash everything. Believe me, the guy does it all. Was shooting a movie called The Sea of Green. And he was just starting it, and he asked, yo, would anybody like to play a part in this movie? As a detective, everybody always trying to keep it real, don't think out of the box that, it's acting, So I was like, I'll play a detective, I don't care. And the movie took about 3 years to shoot, but he slowly put it together. He used all his contacts in the industry, to get, artists like Onyx and Cypress Hill and a couple of surprise guests in there too. You just check it out. And the movie came out good. The movie came out real good. It's a real life perspective of what happens in real life. So seeing what he was doing with the movie was something that made me excited to lend my talents to the movie as well. So that's one of the reasons I went in that direction, because it's just like a natural stage of evolution. Like I said, I'm a man who does a lot of different things, and I'm an entertainer, So acting is something that I think came natural. So I said, hey, why not try it too? Don't be surprised if you see me doing comedy soon. Just kidding. But don't be surprised if you see me doing comedy. So I like to try stuff. I'm always out there doing something, and if I feel I can do it, I'll give it a try. And if it goes good, I'll keep on doing it.
It all begins
You know this is against the law, right?
I thought it was like it's a misdemeanor, right? Like a ticket.
No, not when you're driving. I'm hearing that he has that Grim Reefer stuff everybody's talking about. Oh, damn. I know you know where they are. They're in California, man.
Sea of Green's about a young man named Philip Waters, who's like a Wall Street yuppie, who occasionally likes to dabble in smoking marijuana, and one day he gets caught smoking by yours truly, Detective Mendocino, and his whole life spirals out of control just from smoking one little joint. He loses his job, he loses his wife, his family, and then he's left to fend for himself. And in order to make money, he thinks that he can become a drug dealer with little to no experience or little knowledge of what the streets are about, and think that he can make it happen. And it leads to a lot of follies and drama and a lot of good storytelling. So so if you want to know the rest of what happens, go check out and pick up the Sea of Green. And check it out. It's a real good real life story, and it's also based on a true story, so check it out. It was definitely something different, and I think I played the role so good because I got people that hit me up like, that guy, oh man, I hated that guy, I hated him so much. So when I hear people hit me up talking about the movie and they say that means I did my job right in the movie, and I acted it correctly. Playing a detective is definitely weird, but being on the other side of the law myself, I got to witness the detectives, interrogate me, and I've gotten arrested several times in my life, and so I've had a chance to see what they act like and how they are. But Detective Mendocino was somebody who's just a real dedicated officer, and he really wanted to do good. Most detectives have some kind of hidden agenda, and Detective Mendocino was a real down-to-earth, good detective, with good moral values, and he just wanted to uphold the law, even though he wanted to chase down Philip Waters, who was really like a nobody, but he knew it would lead to something, so he stuck with it. There was a lot of backstory in the movie that didn't get told as far as Detective Mendocino went, and why he was so stuck on trying to capture Philip Waters. But all in all, I think that the police officers, because the movie does get bad rep. People see Sea of Green, marijuana, this and that, and the police in Lowell should look at the movie and not think of marijuana and promoting marijuana. You should be happy that you got portrayed in a movie, not as dirtbag cops, not as crooked cops, not as but represented by a cop who actually upheld the law and was a respectable member of law enforcement. And people don't seem to look at that first. And the overall story of what the Sea of Green is if you think about it, taking the road of this lifestyle is going to lead to nothing but bad. But people seem to forget that that's really the underlying story of what a Sea of Green is. The biggest challenge was recording a movie is a lot like recording music. You know what I'm saying? You gotta, if you don't do something right, you gotta redo it, re-record it until you get it right, or get it how you like it. So that was definitely challenging because everybody had different schedules. This was also part of the challenge, man, and why it took so long, because so many people had so many different schedules. And then when we finally had opportunities to finally get together, we had to get so much done on a certain day that was pretty challenging. That was pretty much one of the most challenging things, and then constantly doing it over and over and over until we got it right and how DL wanted it. Because he was a pretty easy director to work with, but at the same time, you know, he expected good things from most of the people who worked on this movie with him. Brightest moment, I would have to say getting shot. I think everybody likes the fact that, you know, giving away a little spoiler, but getting shot, you don't know what happens to me, but you know, everybody as growing up as a kid, you know, you always get shot, you know, playing cops and robbers, or, you know, thugging or whatever, and this and that. So getting shot was pretty much my brightest spot at the moment, because I tried to, you know, embellish that and do a little overacting if I could, you know what I'm saying? So that was a lot of fun. That was bright for me. My very first role in acting, wow. I think that would be, there was a local producer, I think his name is Bob. He had a show called The Bob Show. I don't know if anybody's ever seen it, but and it was a cable access. He used to do skits and parodies and stuff like that, and he had something in there where it was called the Urban Life, which it was a husband and a wife arguing, which was that was my very first role. I went in, you know, I helped them write it as well too, and I think you could still Google it and find it. It's called The Urban Life featuring DraMatik. So that was my first role. But my first professional role was actually at I had a couple of background scenes in The Fighter, and then I even had a little background scene in Denzel Washington's The Equalizer. And believe me, I break myself to try to find me in the crowd or whatever like that, but those were some professional movies that I had a chance to do too. So, and I'm still working on it, you know, like I'm still out there trying to find more roles and seeing if I could get on something, you know, because you never know what it could lead to, you know. Kevin Bacon's one of my favorite actors. He's definitely up there, you know, his diversity and the roles he chooses, you know, constantly kept me surprised, you know, throughout the years. You know, I also like Will Smith is another one who's definitely an actor who, just like me, had my background, the hip hop or rap artist, you know, but then turned around and he was doing all these kind of films that were totally out of his element too. So those are a couple actors that I really look up to about, you know, that with their acting skills and learned a little bit by watching them as well. The Wolves have a new album coming out called Guns N' Roses, so be looking for that, and that's in the near future. See what else we got going on. I did lock down a new role in a new indie movie that I really can't talk about right now, but it's still in the developing stages, so definitely be looking for more acting. And there's actually another movie that I worked on. It was called Portiso, with Matthew Dumond, who's a director out of New Hampshire. And this movie was great too, because it's a crime drama, and it's based on all of New England, and he has assembled an incredible cast, man. And it, you know, from WCW fighters, Doomsday's in it, you know, and just a lot of good people that made a pretty good movie. So be on the lookout for that. That's an indie movie that's coming out soon that's called Portiso. So those are two little things you could be looking out for in the Wolves album right now. That's what I'll leave you with, and maybe another surprise album, mixtape that might be secretly leaking at some point that people, you know, put together of a lot of songs that I never really had a chance to put on anything. So you could look at that, look for that. The message I would like to leave with whoever might be watching this, you know, fans, other artists, you know, keep the music true, man. Keep the music coming from your heart. Don't be influenced the wrong way by any of the crap that's out there, up and coming aspiring artists. You know, keep it true to your roots and who you are, man, and don't be anything that you're not, because, you know, it comes out in the music, man. And if people can't respect you in hip hop, you know, that's gonna shine through too, you know. You could find most of my music on all over the internet. I don't got no specific sites. You can just Google DraMatik with a K or DraMatik Wolves, and most of my music comes back. You know, most of my videos, you can find them on YouTube, Drama Wolf, and on Twitter I'm DraMatik978, and as well as on Facebook. So you can find most of my music and videos on those specific sites. But once again, you know, I want to thank you guys for giving me the opportunity. Once again, this is one of those avenues that artists got to explore, in order to get more of, what they're doing out there. And when you give them and provide them with that kind of avenue, that's applaudable. So I want to thank you guys for giving me the opportunity to come here and share a little bit of my life story, some of my music, and some of my ups and downs. But I appreciate it very much. Thank you very much, man. Have a good day, everybody. Keep it real, yo. Hold it down. Lawtown 978, Mill City. Much love.
This way, go from the break of night to break of day. I'm a insomniac, I can't sleep at night. So I pick up the pen, I get deep and write. But people always say I'm a creep in the moonlight, and I could chill till the break of dawn. That's right. Check it out, yo, I don't need no dose or some of that white stuff to leave my nose froze. The freaks come out at night and the nerds in the daylight. And even though I'm sleepy, my lyrics, they stay tight. Plus I still gotta work at 8 in the morning. Coming in through the door all weary and yawning. No one knows about my life in the nighttime. All the crazy shit I do off the moonshine. I'm Norman Bates, I can't wait to hate ya. It's so late at night and I can't wait to break ya. But everything ain't always what it seems. I woke up in the morning, what a dream. When the rest of the world is asleep at night, I like to stay up to a beat that's tight. And I know it's not cool to live this way. Go from the break of night to break of day. When the rest of the world is asleep at night.